This is really bad. He felt the hard floor against his cheek and realized that he had collapsed onto his face. His strength was completely gone and he had already lost sensation in his fingers. The heat from his core was excruciating. It made him want to tear his throat out. Atsui, 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 atsui. The moment he opened his mouth to scream, what spilled forth was no shriek. It was a clump of blood. He vomited up large quantities of his lifeblood as he coughed. Frothy blood started to foam at the corners of his mouth as he gurgled. Within his dim field of view, the ground has been dyed red. Ah, this is all my blood. There was enough to soak his fallen body. Blood comprises about 8% of the human body, and it is said that losing about a third of that would be life-threatening. But it seemed that he had already lost about all of that. He had stopped vomiting blood, but the heat that he had felt was as though it would incinerate him still persist. He moved his hand towards his abdomen with great difficulty, and having felt an impossible sensation there, he understood. My stomach has been torn open, huh? It was no wonder why he felt so hot. It seemed that he had confused pain for heat. He had almost been torn in half. Only a bit of skin at the back of him held him together. In short, it seemed that this was checkmate for him. The moment he realized this, his consciousness started fading. Even the heat which was making him writhe in agony had disappeared. Even the unpleasant feeling of blood and the sensation in his hand that he used to feel his organs. It was all fading away with his consciousness. All that was left was his body, which had never been able to accompany his soul. This body used the last of its disappearing consciousness to move just a little. It turned its head upward. Black hues formed ripples in the pools of blood before his eyes. There was someone there, and that someone was most likely the one who killed him. Strangely, he didn't feel like looking at their face. This person was the someone who took his life, and yet he decided to simply remain a spectator at his own demise. He had no clue who they were, but right now, he didn't really care about that. He only wished for the girl's safety.
Subaru?
He felt like he heard her voice, like a chime of a bell. He was beyond the point where he could differentiate his senses, so he probably just imagined it. Despite that, even supposing it wasn't real, he found it extremely comforting.
待って。
A short scream, then the carpet of blood welcomed yet another person. She'd fallen right next to him, exactly where his arm was. Her fair hand dropped tirelessly and intertwined with his. Probably just a coincidence. He felt her fingers move slightly, as if squeezing his hand. He forced his disappearing consciousness to return for a moment. The pain and the heat, everything had faded away. It was all a meaningless effort. Nothing but a loser wasting time. But even so, I will definitely save you! At that moment, Natsuki Subaru lost his life.